Recently in a devotee's home, I saw a small book called Timeless Tales to Ignite Your Mind, author Shubha-Vilas. I'd seen books by Shubha-Vilas in several homes and in many temples' gift shops. I'd never looked at any of them, but I saw this, it piqued my interest a little. I thought, well, let's have a look, see what he's writing, and maybe in these stories I'll get some material for future talks. It's 50 short stories, each with what's called life lessons at the end, a little commentary to bring out the moral of the story. Simple, easy to read, not specifically religious or devotional, but it seems to be meant for imparting moral and practical advice in a palatable manner. But when I came to page 22 and I read the life lessons there, I was disturbed. Here's why. I'll read what it says on page 22. When many eyes gaze upon a painting, they make many meanings of it. When many ears drop in on a conversation, they make many interpretations of it. The human world is a world of perspectives and not a world of right or wrong. Right or wrong are absolutes, whereas the world we live in is contextual. Rather than look for absolute conclusions, we should learn to appreciate perspectives. The faster we learn to appreciate perspectives, the quicker we step out of the world of judgments. In the world of judgments, there is a right and there is a wrong. There is a victim and there is an attacker. There is good and there is bad. There is perfection and there is flaw. But in the world of perspectives, there are only different colored reflections of the same truth. The more we learn to appreciate the differences, the more we are able to live in harmony with one another. Perspectives enhance the dimensions of seeing people, life, and life events through different eyes. When we respect others' perspectives, we embrace life's variegated form without the trappings of right and wrong. So, a child is murdered, and it's just one perspective to say it's bad. So, what should we do? Close the law courts. There's nothing to judge whether something is right or wrong. Disband the police, because whatever people do, it's just a perspective. There's no right or wrong. We can remove the word criminal from the dictionary. To say there is no right and wrong is dangerous. It's misleading. It means moral relativism, atheism, Mayavad, as Srila Prabhupada writes in his purport to Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 15, Text 6. If one associates with the Mayavad philosophy, his devotional life is doomed. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur noted that most people are inclined toward atheism, and he warned about atheism under the guise of theism. But even most atheists would protest this extremely dangerous teaching that there's no real such thing as right or wrong, good or bad, it's all perspective. This can justify all kinds of exploitation and perversion. There's nothing wrong. Hitler wasn't wrong. Serial killers aren't wrong. It's just a question of perspective. This is not moral instruction. This is anti-moral instruction. And you might say, well, no, I wasn't meant like that. You have to understand. And you could even quote from Caitanya-caritamrta, Dvaite bhadra bhadra gyan sab monodharma, e bhalo, e monanda, e shabram, which means that in the material world, conceptions of good and bad are all mental speculations. Therefore, saying this is good and this is bad is all a mistake. But this verse shouldn't be taken out of context. It is certainly true on the platform of realized jnana yoga, in which one sees everything in the material world as inconsequential or bad, and therefore the analogy comes of wet stool and dry stool. It's all bad. In other words, things are either bad or worse. However, people who are not on the realized platform, which means almost everybody, need to be told that there is a difference between right and wrong. And the realized person doesn't engage in wrong activities such as killing people, but the non-realized person has to understand, it is essential to understand in human society that there is a difference between right and wrong. Otherwise there's no need of scriptures, there's no need of laws, there's no need to train children what is right and wrong. But the clearly stated message in this book is that there is no clear right or wrong. But clearly there is a difference between feeding a hungry child and killing a hungry child, or even a not hungry child. And even if you are not interested in standard basic morality and you don't care what's right or wrong, you think you can get away with whatever you like, there are karmic reactions. If you do wrong things, you are going to get a bad result. If you do right things, you'll get a better result. If you say there's no difference between right or wrong, then, according to Lord Krishna in Bhagavad-gita, you are an asura, a demon. Pravriting cha nivriting cha janana vidur asuraha. Persons who are demoniac don't know what is to be done and what is not to be done. The unstated message of this book by Shubha Vilas is how to live in this world and be somewhat spiritual. There's no clear understanding of what we really need to know, which is that we are now in the rarely achieved human form of life, and we have to utilize that for getting out of the cycle of birth and death. Labdva sudur labamidang bahusambhavante manusham arthadam anityam apihadhira turnam yatetana patedanu mrityayava nishrayasaya vishaya kalu sarvata syat. Lord Krishna teaches that the human form of life is very rarely attained. Now we have it after many, many births. We won't be in this human body very long. Therefore, we should very soberly consider, and without delay, we should make that endeavor by which we won't get born again. And we should endeavor for the ultimate benefit and not remain stuck in this platform of trying to enjoy this world, which we've been doing in all species of life. There's no clue of this essential message in this book, or what spiritual life is. God is mentioned, the word God is mentioned, but there's no clear idea of what is meant by God, and certainly nothing approaching the necessity of taking to Krishna consciousness and surrendering to Krishna. In the book, it's stated about the author that he's a lifestyle coach, a storyteller, and an author. He is also an initiated devotee in ISKCON, and presumably ISKCON devotees think his books must be okay. because he's an ISKCON devotee and his books are sold in ISKCON bookshops. But don't be lazy. Be careful. We need a solid grounding in Srila Prabhupada's books. Then we can distinguish what is in line with those guaranteed parampara representation of the absolute truth, those teaching in Srila Prabhupada's books. If it's not in line with that, reject it. Again, don't be lazy, thinking he's an ISKCON devotee, so it must be okay. Siddhanta balaya chittena karaha alash. Iha hoite Krishna lage sudhira manos. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami enjoins us. Don't be lazy in the matter of understanding Siddhanta, proper philosophical conclusions. By not being lazy, by applying our minds to understand what is right, what is wrong, what is proper, what is improper, our mind can become firmly attached to Krishna. There are all kinds of things. There's just one book. I don't know how many books are there like this. There are all kinds of things floating around nowadays in Vaishnava society that are questionable, to say the least. We have enough problems with cheaters and Mayavadis outside ISKCON. Devotees have been given the highest knowledge, but some are spreading something else. At least in his books, Shubha Vilas doesn't say he's a member of ISKCON. He doesn't do it in the name of ISKCON, at least not in this book. He has to make a living, but then we're reminded that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that it's better to be an honest street sweeper and earn your living by an honest means than to show the deity for making money. So to get the highest knowledge from Srila Prabhupada, all the gurus in Parampara, and Shastra, and Krishna, and then present something which is opposite to what they teach. So it's better to be an honest street sweeper than a misleading guru. The title of the book purports to ignite your mind. Yeah, it'll ignite your mind and burn up any hope of understanding Bhagavad-gita as it is, in which Lord Krishna states that this material world is dukhalayam. It's full of misery. It's all about how to get on in this world. Of course, there are many things in Shastra like that. In Mahabharata, for instance, you can take so many instructions. There's Charnakya Niti Shastra is there. So such things are there. But these are not the core instructions that we receive from the Vaishnava Acharyas. That has to be in the center. Surrender to Krishna, Bhagavad-gita, chapter 18, text 66. You might think this book has ignited my mind. I've become angry. I'm not really so angry. I should be more angry. I would have been more angry had I seen this book some years ago. But now I'm just inured to nonsense said and done by devotees. It's all around us in so many ways. This book was just one I saw. No doubt there are many more circulating in today's Vaishnava world that reflect the popular indirect preaching style in which Krishna and his teachings are either not prominent or just absent. So it's unsurprising that we see many initiated devotees adamantly promoting mundane education. Recently, I was told that there's a whole group of Bengali devotees in one city in America who celebrate Durga Puja for 3 days with their guru's permission. And karmi food is everywhere in ISKCON life. Anyway, these things are going on, as Srila Prabhupada would say. And it's unlikely that this talk will make a big difference. These kinds of things will continue to go on. It's meant to warn those who want Krishna consciousness in a straightforward way without mixing non-devotional ideas. This talk might ignite some and make them angry. Don't criticize Vaishnavas. But let's be clear. This isn't Vaishnavism. It's atheism. Vancha kalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.